Hello, everyone, and welcome to my review of Destiny. This game is a lot of fun. I really enjoy it, but there are some flaws with the game. So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to run through some things that I really liked about the game. I'm going to talk about some things that were disappointing about the game, and then I'm going to wrap everything up and give it a final score at the end. And I mean, this game last week it took up my whole entire week. I did nothing last week. I did not do any YouTube at all. I didn't do Comic Thursdays. Um, there wasn't any. I don't think there was a Skyrim video or anything. There wasn't Resident Evil. Nothing. So I'm starting off the week with my review of the game, and then we're going to continue as usual. The only thing is, keep watching for today. I'm gonna do a let's talk, and I'll explain more there. But for now, let's talk about the review and things I liked about the game. I like the Crucible is one thing that I want to address right away. I know I said earlier in like a week ago when Destiny launched in one of my videos, I had said I didn't really like the Crucible. Well, once you hit level 20, I feel you stand a better chance against other players in the PvP area of the Crucible, and it's a lot more fun. In my personal opinion, once you get to that higher level and you actually start standing a chance against other players, especially now that the game's been out for a while, a majority of players now are up to level 20 and are putting on items that have light in them, so they're going past level 20. And so Crucible, it is pretty fun. I enjoyed it. Gunplay is fantastic in this game, finding different weapons and um, trying to find the exotic pieces of armor and exotic weapons. That's really fun. I like that stuff. But really, that's all I can say about what I like about the game. I mean, I've spent several hours playing it. I think it's very fun, but there are some major flaws in the game. And the first thing I'm going to address is that the game is very short. Um, I kept hearing like once you hit level 20, the game is gonna pick up. I thought that meant I'm gonna unlock more story missions or something. No, that wasn't the case. Once you beat the game, there really is no more story missions afterwards. So all the rest of the game is going to be any story missions. They're going to be DLC releases or updates to the game, is what I've been told. That there might be some story missions that they put in updates for free, and it's kind of disappointing that they did that. That they kind of cut. It feels like they cut the game short. And I've looked into it, and there have been people who alpha tested the game that tested the game before it went to beta, where everyone played, and they said that from from alpha to the final product, they cut out pieces of the game. They said there was a lot more that they were able to do in alpha than there was in the final game product, which is really sad because it's becoming a regular practice today in the gaming community for game developers and publishers to just say cut this out and we're gonna make it DLC later. And I don't think that's fair to us as gamers to make us pay for a part of the game that you already have made, but you're just gonna hang on to it and then make us pay for that later down the road. And it's a practice that needs to go away. I really hope that we can somehow change that practice and make it so they're no longer doing it. And that's all I'm really gonna say about it. That the game, it's really short, and it's disappointing that it's really short, and the narrative isn't very good. There's a few cutscenes, and we know Bungie, they can tell a good narrative, they can tell a good story from Halo, um, but there really is no story here in the game. There's a few cutscenes and not a whole lot is explained. I know with the Destiny companion app, there's things that you can go into and read more about the lore, but really they kind of failed at that aspect because it's like stuff like the companion app. It's supposed to add to the lore. It's not. it's not supposed to be a part of like the main story of the game. It takes you out of the experience if you have to go onto your phone and read up on the main story, and it's that they kind of failed in that aspect, if you ask me. And one final thing I'm going to talk about, as disappointing things go, is the loot system is not all that great. It is a randomly generated loot system. No matter what enemy you kill, you could kill a level 2 enemy and end up getting a legendary engram from one, and then you go and decode it with the guy at the main hub world, and you could end up getting anything from an uncommon to an exotic, and most of the time you're going to get some sort of just a rare item or an uncommon instead of a legendary or an exotic from that exotic enneagram, and that to me is just ridiculous. Um, Doing things like raids, your loot from it is completely random. You can't, it doesn't just give you some sort of item that you don't have. You could end up getting an item that you already have, or you can get a completely useless item from it, and it, it, it's unfair. It's just that it's randomly generated. It's just like, whatever, here, take this, and you're like, what is that? I spent hours performing this raid. I spent maybe days doing it because it takes so long to do a raid, and you give me crap. So I hope it gets fixed. I hope it does something like Diablo. Diablo had a really um, crappy raid system, and they put it in that auction house, and then they finally took the auction house away, and they just made the loot system better, where you can get better items and stuff from enemies that just drop it. So the loot system feels a lot like Diablo to me in Destiny. So hopefully they fix the loot system. Um, uh, it would really make the game a lot better. I think if it had a better loot system, I would probably give this review a higher score. But because of the lack of story, the lack of story missions, um, the constant feeling of once you beat the game, the whole thing is just a grind fest, just killing enemies to get better loot and things like that, just over and over and over again, not really adding anything to the story. There's also a lot of the story missions were disappointing because it was mainly you did the same thing over and over again. You deployed your ghost, and then you fought off waves of enemies, and then mission over. That was it, and that really didn't. We know that Bungie, they can do better story missions. They can do something spectacular where you're doing more than just fighting off waves of enemies and defending a point. And there's a lot of flaws with the game. The game is not perfect. It is fun. I'll give it that. I enjoy playing the game, but there are a lot of flaws, and I would be surprised to see this game get Game of the Year. I mean, it might, because of the way gaming is going right now. They're just like, whatever. I'll give you this much money if you if you give my game a good review, or things like that. There's a whole Gamergate scandal thing that's going on right now where this stuff is starting to come to light. I mean, we have all known for a long time, but now it's confirming, yes, this is what they're doing. So, for me, on the scale of 1 to 5 rating system that I've created, I'm going to have to give it a 3 out of 5. It is average at best. Like I said, I enjoy the game. I have fun playing it, but there are a lot of flaws with it that make it far from perfect. It is average. Um, it is average. So as far as average goes, it's not like a 4 out of 5 where it's almost perfect with only a few flaws, or a 5 where this game is a game that you can't miss. You have to pick it up. It's a 3. It is average at best, and that's because of the lack of story, the lack of creativeness that they put into it. The loot system is horrible. And don't even get me started on trying to connect with people, because connecting with people can be a pain in the ass in this game, because if you're not in their fire squad, then you can't talk to them. So you have to invite random people into your fire squad in order just to talk to these people. So it's average, 3 out of 5. We know Bungie, they can do better than this. Some of it may be a PR scam because of Activision. They signed this 10-year contract with Activision. They're going to be releasing new content for the game over 10 years. And maybe Activision was like, hold on a second, you got to cut this shit out of the game and fucking release it later for paid DLC. Don't do that with your games. It's ridiculous. And we're, quite frankly, as gamers, we are tired of it. So, as you can see, as we got to the end of this review, I got pretty angry about some of the aspects. If you are a hardcore Bungie fan, go ahead and pick this game up. If you already are a hardcore Bungie fan, you probably already have. And maybe for some people, they might want to wait to pick this game up. It is fun. I'm entertained by it. As soon as I'm done with this review, I'm going to go back over and start playing it again. But stop with taking things out of our games and making it paid DLC. Fix the loot system. I mean, the loot system, yeah, they probably weren't going to get it right away. It's something that that Bungie's newly working on. Hopefully soon they will fix the loot system to where you actually get good shit for a raid, or you get good shit from a legendary enneagram or an exotic enneagram. I've heard of people getting crap from exotic enneagrams. Me personally, I think if they're gonna make it where you could get one or two things, you could get something. I think for exotics, you should either get the option to get an exotic or a legendary. If you get a green or a blue from an exotic enneagram, then there's something going wrong. You should at least get a legendary, at least. If not, like the highest you should get is an exotic, yes. But for the very least, get a legendary. So that's it. That's my review. 3 out of 5. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Go ahead and hit that likes up button. Subscribe to see more content from me. If you guys want to play Destiny with me, I'm playing on the PS4. My gamer tag is Killer Baby Lily. Just like everything else, my Twitch, my Facebook page, even here on YouTube, it's Killer Baby Lily Gamer. Just instead, drop the gamer. It's just Killer Baby Lily on all systems. So I'll see you guys out there playing the games. If you guys want, like I said, play with me. I'm always welcome to play with you guys. I've done it a lot in the past. Well, when I did the Let's Play of Grand Theft Auto 5 on Twitch, and a lot of you guys came out and you played with me on the multiplayer mode once we finished up. So come out and play with me. I'm always welcoming you guys to come play with me. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys later this week with more content.